What's up, guys? Welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies, and welcome back to another Star Wars Black Series 6-inch scale action figure review. Alright, today we're doing Star Wars The Clone Wars Ahsoka Tano Padawan. And this has been a figure long time coming. Back in 2013, when the Black Series started, Clone Wars was actually on television. It was a running series still, and in late 2012, Disney bought out Lucasfilm, or I guess George Lucas sold it to Disney. And one of the first things they did was decide that they're going to make a Rebels TV show. They're going to cancel the Clone Wars, which made a lot of people very unhappy. But I do believe it ran in syndication on TV, like regular local channels, for a couple of years. It's about 2015. Now, here's the artwork on the side of the package, which doesn't look anything like Ahsoka at all. Especially the face. She looks very angry, to say the least. And I got the flashlight on my phone to make it better. To make everything a little bit brighter, because I'm doing this in the evening. Now, the figure itself looks fantastic. That likeness looks fantastic. That likeness looks awful. Ahsoka has never looked that bad. All right, so Ahsoka Tano, a young Togruta, was the Padawan learner to Anakin Skywalker and a hero of the Clone Wars. She's number 13 in the Clone Wars series. And there's the date code 32011. So, if you know what that means. So, all right, you could get these if you want on Entertainment Earth. There's a wave of 8 figures, or case of 8 figures. I'm not really sure what wave she's in. I was trying to look it up. I don't see any waves that she was in. I've never seen this figure in a store, but it supposedly came out in November 2023. A lot of people have pre-ordered it. You didn't get it until late January, early February, and we're now in March. So if you pre-order her individually, I think it says May or August on some websites. Basically just Entertainment Earth. And if you've never opened a box like this, the plastic-free packaging for a Star Wars figure, that's what it looks like right there. It's just a tissue wrap. It's not even a bag, it's just a wrap. And it's the Star Wars Black Series on it. I don't know if you can even see that. And then there's a little plastic paper bag type thing that holds your lightsabers. And you have to cut this open because it's all taped in real tight around the Ahsoka figure. Alright, so this has been one of the most highly anticipated Star Wars Black Series 6-inch figures for a very, very long time. And that's why she is a sellout. The only way that I know you can get this, like I said, you can pre-order on Entertainment Earth. I'm pretty sure they've already gone through at least one shipment, because I already got this figure and it says it's coming out in May. And a lot of other people already have this figure, got it from Amazon. But right now, if you want it right now, unfortunately the only way to get it would be pay double, or about $40 to $50. It'll be hard to find for less than $50 unless you want to order it from China and wait a month. I saw somebody on eBay, $26.99 plus $15 shipping from China, and that's probably not even guaranteed to be a genuine Hasbro. It could be, but all right. Anyway, so as you can see, she's very well articulated. She can stand up. She's got this pose. I've already posed her out. I've had this figure for a few days. I wanted to go over it just a little bit before I did a review. There's a lot of really fantastic things about this figure. The likeness, especially when you look at the box and you see, like, here it is. I didn't show this side. Right here. That's kind of like what it comes like in the box. Just straight up and down with their arms straight up and down. And that's exactly what you pull out of the box. It's 5.6 inches, 140 or 14.2 centimeters. I guess 142 millimeters. But so that's exactly what you pull out of the box. Now there are okay. So if you look at the figure, if you just look at the figure the way it is in the box, like this, that looks absolutely 100% fantastic. I mean, from head to toe, it looks like Ahsoka. And it still does when you take it out. But a lot of Hasbro figures, Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe Classified, they've moved on from the type of articulation that this kind of figure has. And this is Star Wars. This is their top brand, or top, I mean, it was for a long time. And this Shoto blade, she can barely hold on to that because her hand is sculpted in a way where it's supposed to be so where she can hold the lightsaber upside down. It's sculpted in a way that she can do that. The best way to get it in her hand is to use the peg, either put it around there in between her thumb and her finger so she doesn't drop it, or I was doing it between the first two fingers. There's different ways you can do it, but it falls out relatively easy. Another problem with the figure, this will not use regular 6-inch scale figure stands. It might use one. This might be for a 3 3/4 figure. That's the kind, because it's not only not deep enough, but it's not wide enough. It just won't go in. And they put the hole in front of her foot instead of back here, which is kind of strange because they're normally in the back. But that's the widest part of her foot. Another thing they did was take out the articulation in the thigh section, which in this particular figure doesn't really seem to hinder it. Another problem with the figure, it doesn't have any kind of ab crunch like the Black Widow from Marvel Legends or what they're doing with the G.I. Joes now. It's like it doesn't have a bicep swivel. She doesn't have double jointed elbows. I mean, this right here is a perfect place to utilize that articulation where the straps go across. They could have done that very easily. The body, I mean, the only real like paint problem is back there. It's not painted all the way. There's some speckles right there. And these things are pretty shallow. They're not, if you look at the peg, it looks like it's a lot bigger than the hole is, and they're kind of difficult to get in there and to stay in there. Her head, as far as articulation goes, she does have the newer articulation where she's got a ball socket up there and then a neck peg down into the torso of the body, and it doesn't really do anything. You can go like this, side to side, just a little bit. You can go pretty much nothing because of the sculpt of the figure. This is a harder plastic. This is a harder plastic. Another problem is you need to get this figure a bath straight out of the package, because if you don't, there's a good chance that you'll break her elbow. You'll rip it right out. Another problem, her joint is the wrong color. It's skin color on this side, but it's glove color on this side, which makes no sense. Her butterfly joints are completely pointless because they don't really, do hardly anything. Um, her her it's you've got to do a lot of stuff just to get this thing to move. If you want to move her wrist joints at all, you need to get some hot water, or you need to get a hair dryer, heat it up for a while, probably pull it out and move it around for a while because it's the only way you're really going to get it to work. This one I got to work just by hot water. I had to use hot water to bend her elbow. Um, there's just, it seems like, if you're a hardcore collector and you collect a lot of these type of figures from Hasbro, then you already know all this kind of stuff. But if you're just the random, you know, if you're just, collecting here and there, which I've done now from Star Wars, because I don't need every single clone trooper, I don't need every single exclusive. They used to be a lot rarer and not have so many exclusives when they first came out, but nowadays I just don't need all that stuff. So I'm cherry picking. And I do have plenty of Ahsokas. I've got all of her Ahsokas pretty much. But I never opened one because every single Black Series Ahsoka figure that I had from the original 2016 and the red and black box number 20, the Rebels version where she's more grown up, but kind of still looks like this, but more grown up. That one, every single one of them had terrible paint on her face or somewhere on her body. I never got a single one that had a decent paint job on her face. So I was hoping that I would eventually find one, like in store, because I pre-ordered her online when she first was announced from Hasbro Pulse or Hasbro, whatever they called it back then, Hasbro Toy Shop. And yeah, but so this figure's got a ton of problems, but at the same time, it looks fantastic. And so that's kind of the thing with Kenner / Hasbro. Hasbro is not Kenner by any means. They did absorb Kenner when they bought out Tonka, and Tonka had already bought out Kenner in the 90s. And so they they took on some of the Kenner brands and kind of made them their own, but tried to keep them Kennerized for a while. They even kept the Kenner name until the big movie came out in 1999, Episode 1. So yeah, but okay. So as far as the paint, let's go ahead and just go over the figure and stop complaining for a while. The buckles here are all painted on her legs, which is fantastic because they don't always do buckles and stuff like that. You can tell, you can already see what kind of poses you can get her into. There's no calf swivel, but her legs do swivel. They look kind of funny when you do it because they look out of place, but they are hinge and swivel joints like the vintage collection ones are. There's no thigh swivel anymore, but the ball socket is much deeper now, so you can still twist it a little bit. Like if you're going straight, let's see, you can still twist it a little bit like that. So it's not really. Now that they have the hinge and swivel down here, I guess you technically really don't need it. It is for figures like Princess Leia, like in the Jabba's Prisoner, Princess Leia. If you slide her legs over sideways like this, then it would it helps. But see, you can almost kind of get the same effect, like if she was sitting down on Jabba's thing. So I don't think you can do that with her because of her skirt. It is a little bit stiffer plastic, but as you saw, I already had her in a pose. So you can get some decent Jedi poses out of here. She's got articulation that's up and down on both sides, which a lot of collectors like. She's got the hinge and swivel at the elbows. She's got butterflies that are pretty much meaningless and don't really do anything. Um, she's got the hinge and swivel at the shoulder. She can't really move her head. She could just barely even like hello, hello. You can barely move it at all, even though it's on two different joints. She does have a torso joint, but you can't really get her to go forward. I mean, barely, and doesn't go back at all. Oh, wait, yeah, it does. If you push it far enough. Maybe that's because I gave her a figure bath, and now she's got a little bit more articulation. But yeah, she doesn't go forward very much. That's probably it might be because of the belt. But overall, aesthetically, it is very, I guess, pleasing. It looks great. It's fantastic as the way it looks. It's definitely a hot seller. You can't get it for less than $50 right now. So it's definitely one to get if you don't have it. If you want any Ahsoka figure, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, this is the one to get. Will they do another Ahsoka? Probably, maybe, sometime in the future. They haven't done her season 1 outfit yet, where she's wearing. I don't think she's got like a tank top on the top, and she's a little bit younger looking. So this one's more like the 16, 17, 18-year-old Ahsoka from season 3 to season 5. So, I'm glad that she came with both of her lightsabers with her Shoto blade, and this is the first time she's come with green lightsabers in the 6-inch Black Series. I've got her other figure based off the TV show right here, which doesn't even look like her, to be honest. Not really. Maybe from certain angles there's a slight resemblance, but overall, this is a absolute must-have. Could they have done better? Absolutely, they could have. Pick her up if you can find her for under $50. That's all I can say. If you're a fan of Ahsoka, absolute must-have. So may the Force be with you, because you're going to need it if you're going to find her for under $50. Unless they just decide to re-release her in much larger quantities. So pre-order her on Entertainment Earth if you can for $24.99. That's what I would do if you can wait that long. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one, and we'll be reviewing the Ahsoka figures from the Ahsoka line, like Ahsoka Tano and Shin Hati, and I'll see you on the next review. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. May the Force be with you, always.